All right, hey guys, here we are, hole 3. Let's see what we have. I would imagine tailwind. I feel like typical pro here is almost straight tailwind. They kind of level the playing field for a lot of the clubs here. So, not quite straight, but it is still tailwind. So with that in mind, you can see opponent here with Thor 6. Imagine, Thor 6, highly recommend getting out of pro, even though this guy seems to love pro. If you have enough coins to move on, if you have the bankroll to move from pro, always better to play expert. Reason being, he can't win Apocalypse card. You should see that's why he has Thorn. This is why you have to play Thor Driver, because you're never going to advance your Apocalypse just sitting in pro. Same with your Spitfire, same with your Nirvana, Rapier. These clubs won't ever progress if you don't win expert tournaments or win tournament chests that are an expert. Really top 10s, top 25s, at least it's progress. With as many tournaments as they have, the more that you could just kind of keep chipping away, even with smaller chests, the better. Because eventually those Apocalypse, they become 4s, they become 5s. However, when you're in pro all the time, you're never going to win Apocalypse cards via the tournament. So what I'm going to do here is typically about 3-ish rings, maybe just a touch of power. You can see we got a little bit of tailwind. I can't use too much power here because if I do, I could end up clipping that rough. But what the big topper is going to allow me to do is get out there with those big bull, like with the guys with the crazy drivers. So I should, in reality, even outdrive him. So you'll see, and typically what I try to do is I'll try to go for a backstop shot here. Now this isn't the best wind to pull this shot off. It's kind of a challenging wind, but if you can hone in on that ring adjustment that you need to go, it's going to be very makeable shot. The more and more times that you see the shot, the more that you can just kind of tweak it and hopefully master that ring adjustment. So let's see if this guy can get through this shot. And we'll take a look at this one. This is more or less, very close to how I play it. I don't know if he's getting up on the backstop enough, though. Let's just see. It's close. You typically want to get just a tiny bit higher. I think this might stop short. It did just make it to the hole. But you can see that's more or less the... Now, the only thing I like to do is I like to bring it up onto the green. The green's a more reliable surface, landing surface, than the... So it's going to be more reliable surface where time and time again, and one of the things you can do is you can always test min club. So if I know that this is min, if I have varying drivers and min is up here next time, that means I'm closer to the hole, which means I'll need to go less rings. So you'll want to kind of memorize these spots so you can just get familiar, because you can see I'm trying to basically play the ring play, and I'm thinking somewhere in the neighborhood of maybe just a shade under 5 here. So that's maybe 4.7 rings for a 5.2 wind, which is almost a max ring play. But here you can see it's shooting down towards the hole. It's just a little bit light. It's something that you can hone in on. Now, the biggest thing that you'll want to worry about is consistency. So we won't always hit the same tee shot. But if we use that min line and just kind of memorize that spot, and then if it's farther in the bunker, we know we're farther from the hole next time. That means it's going to be in the air longer. It means we need to go more rings. So if I went, what's 4.7 to 5.2? It's about 10% less. It's about, 1.1 per ring, give or take? Somewhere in that ballpark. Or whatever it was. If it was, it was a 5.2 wind, and I went 4.7 rings. So I went about 1.1 per ring, give or take. Or is it 0.9? Or did I go less? I went less. So if the wind's 5.2, I went less rings than that. That means the number that I went was like 1.1-ish, right in the ballpark. So with that being said, I could pretty much stick to that adjustment or just minorly tweak it. It looks like I needed to go just a little bit more than that. It was almost a little bit closer to 1-to-1 there. So maybe 5.0 rings. So let's say I adjusted 5.0 or 4.9. That's like more of the correct adjustment, but it's only going to be good for that distance that I was at. So using that red line there, the min club, if that changes and I get closer or farther to the hole, instead of going 5.0 for 5.2 wind, I'll need to kind of tweak that and maybe go 5.5, 5.2 if it's farther from the hole, and maybe go 4.5, 4.7 if I get closer. So those are the things you'll want to keep in mind. Good luck, and I'll see you guys on the next one.